da 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 ra da 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 ra da 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 da
I gotta
da
say,
da da
is that an
ya
original tune?
da ya da ba. That was nominated for an Academy Award.
Your singing of that tune was just absolutely stupefyingly beautiful, man. I
Henry,
gotta say.
that's the theme song to Terms of Endearment. And
It is?
yep, that's what we're covering today. I'm your
Oh.
host, Daniel Ehrenberg. Welcome to episode number 77.
While he's conducting episode 77, I will be conducting episode 97.
Jesus. Oh, hey, I got the 7 right.
Yeah, you did. It's
Okay, I
okay.
meant 97.
I know we
We're
can do
talking terms. That's what we're doing this week. Talking terms, yapping
up.
endearments.
Yep.
Yep. Uh, walking winger.
Walking Winger. We got some new lists, I believe.
Listen, I have lists. Here's what I learned making these lists, Henry.
Yeah.
1983. That's a piss poor year for film.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Boy.
That surprised me. I didn't remember.
1996, on the other hand.
Right, of course.
Hell of a year.
96. Yeah, well, we'll get to it. But yeah, totally. Yeah, 83 was tough.
All right, so we're
was
talking terms. It's Terms of Endearment, the enduring classic winner of Best Picture and many other Academy Awards. 5 Oscars that year out of 11 nominations. And we're talking about its sequel, The Evening Star. We'll be talking about Scott Wolf. We'll be talking about who's in it?
Bill
Lewis.
Paxton.
Yeah, hey, the late Bill Paxton.
The late Bill Paxton. We got a lot of late people.
Is Juliette Lewis dead yet?
Not yet. I don't. I'm not sure. I think she overdosed and then woke up and was totally happy and making jokes. Oh no, wait. Sorry.
That was in The Evening Star.
Right.
You made a reference.
I didn't even realize I was doing that.
No, I'm going to need you to get right up on that mic, Henry.
I couldn't possibly get on it, my friend.
Hey, it's another edition of the franchise After Dark, ladies and germs. And
yeah,
we're recording at night. It's a Saturday night. That's what we're doing with our lives. Saturday night, talking terms.
Wasn't the plan, but I was having some serious technical difficulties.
We're having technical diffs today. Let us know if Henry sounds appreciably worse than usual.
But don't be too harsh. If it's okay, then let's just say it's good.
You could be harsh. Just don't write about it in the iTunes reviews.
Oh, that's a good point.
All right. You ready to talk terms?
I'm doing my best. I'm ready to talk terms. What are the terms of the contract for 50 Shades? I mean, Terms of Endearment. Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to get right up on that mic.
Oh, my God.
Listen, Terms of Endearment is written and directed by James L. Brooks, his directorial debut as a filmmaker. Now,
yeah.
James L., that sounds great. James L. has had a long TV career before Terms of Endearment. And indeed, Terms of Endearment comes out just months after Taxi wrapped up its 5-season run.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Taxi is one of Jamie Brooks's classic shows, along with The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Rhoda, and so many others. Later on, The Simpsons, of course.
Oh, Rhoda, right. Okay, all right.
All right. Yeah. He's great. I love the fuck out of all those shows.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah.
What's that? You sound bemused.
Well, yeah, no, they're good. They are good shows. They are good shows. I gotta confess, I'm not as familiar with that as you are. I'm more of a knowing him from the movies. So.
And The Simpsons.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't say I'm like a James. Looking back at what he's done, I couldn't say I'm like a fan or
Have
anything
you
like
seen
that.
that many of his movies?
I mean, I've seen. Did he do broadcast news?
Yep, Criterion. Hey, James L. Brooks, as a filmmaker, he's like he's not very prolific. All right, like
Right.
every 6 years, he makes an overlong movie about white people having issues.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
that's
about right.
there's nothing wrong with that, but they always span a long period of time, and they've got sprawling casts, and
Right.
usually they have titles that are pretty meaningless. Like if I name the title of a James L. Brooks movie, you won't be able to guess what it's about.
Oh, that's a very good point. Except
Like
for
like Henry.
broadcast news.
Henry, what's here's a descriptive title. I'll do
Okay,
anything.
I'll do anything.
What does
I
that
think
mean?
to me, it sounds like somebody very desperate for money. So maybe it's about a hooker.
Maybe. Now, how about this one? As good as it gets.
I don't know. I mean, maybe was it an early Larry David vehicle?
How about how do you know?
He did that. He did that?
Yeah.
How do you know?
He's sort of the male Nancy Myers, isn't it?
Absolutely. Good
Yeah.
call. Good call on that. Yeah.
Everyone's kind of rich. Like in Terms of Endearment, it's one of these movies they're like having money problems, but in like their back pocket, like Shirley MacLaine owns an original Renoir that she can
Right.
like sell
Right.
anytime
Right.
she
Yeah.
wants.
Give me those money problems. Yeah. 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 For sure. For sure.
Terms. We're talking terms. Um, we're retitling the podcast this week.
Yeah. Like, apparently, you've said it many times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking terms.
Terms comes out Nov 23, 1983, just in time for Oscar season. I've said that as a joke before, but in this case, it's true.
Oh, absolutely.
Budget of $8 million, a big old box office of $108.4 million. All right,
That's pretty astonishing. Yeah.
it came in at number 2 for the year there.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I've got the top 5.
Okay.
We've
gonna
done
go.
this year before. In fact, we've covered
Oh, all
number
right.
1.
Well, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's number 1. That's what
Trading
people wanted to see that year. Just little bears and women dying.
Yeah, although I'm happy with my redone top 10.
I am too. Although it's basically the only 10 movies I like from that year.
Yeah, it was weird because like I kind of just did a little mix and match. It doesn't necessarily mean I liked anything more than I took off. I took off a few things, but I'm happy with the list. But I agree with you overall. Boy, I don't know what the fuck was happening.
Yeah, it was a real dead zone in the Cineplexes that year.
It was a real dead zone. Didn't make my list.
That made mine. Okay.
Yeah, that
Hey,
was a perfect example. It easily could have. Yeah.
number 5 is War Games.
Okay.
Number 4, which by the way was nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars that
Oh,
year.
fuck
I
outta
swear to God.
here.
I'm gonna need you to get right up on that mic. Number 4 is Trading Places, which you mentioned. You were right about that. Number 3, I've got a feeling. That's right, Flashdance. Number 2, Talking Terms, and number 1, Jack and Jedi's. I have here the Oscars, Henry.
Yes.
It went 5 for 11, and it was only eligible for 9 because 2 of them were terms nominated against each other.
Oh, good point. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
This movie won Best Picture, Best Director for his directorial debut, James L. Brooks.
Yeah.
Sitcom creator James L. Brooks winning Best Director. at the Oscars.
Best director.
Shirley
Yeah.
MacLaine won Best Actress. She'd been nominated loads of times before. I think she even won once before. I could be
Okay.
wrong about that.
Sure.
She beat Deborah Winger, who was also nominated for Best Actress. Probably should have won.
Right.
Well,
Well,
get
let's
there.
hold off.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson won Best Supporting Actor. One of the supporting actors he beat was John Lithgow for this movie.
I didn't realize that one. I didn't realize that. Okay.
This movie won Best Adapted Screenplay. Okay?
From a Larry McMurtry novel.
That's right. McMurtry. It's sort of almost Nicholson's character from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Sure.
Yeah. And then they
I'm
lost.
right up on that mic.
You need to get closer. No, they lost 4,
Not
or at least center it better. It lost 4 Oscars. Best Score. What a deserving nominee. It lost to The Right Stuff. It lost Best Sound to The Right Stuff.
Okay.
It lost Best Editing to The Right Stuff.
Okay.
And it lost Best Art Direction to Fanny and Alexander.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
I mean, I haven't seen that movie, but okay. Yeah.
Terms was a behemoth.
Really was.
It went 4 for...
Really was.
Yep. It went 4 for 6 at the Golden Globes, Henry.
Yeah.
Can I hear...
I was going to say that...
Can I hear the theme?
Yes.
Can you do it live? We don't have the themes tonight.
I can do it live.
Yeah.
The theme, we're sans themes. I can do it. I did it again. So let's I'll give you a rehash of what I have down. All right, ready? It's the GGs, the Golden Globes, it's the Hollywood Foreign Press, mostly French.
All right, I love it. Golden Globes update. Terms went 4 for 6. It won Best Drama, Best Motion Picture Drama. It won Best Actress, MacLaine. Again, Deborah Winger lost. It won Best Supporting Actor, Jack Nicholson. It won Best Adapted Screenplay, although I think just Screenplay. They don't differentiate at the Globes.
Right. No.
And it lost director, Henry. James L. Brooks got beat for Best Director. Now, I know what you're thinking. James L. Brooks, this amazing auteur. What amazing auteur could possibly have taken him down at the Golden Globes?
Woody Allen, David Cronenberg, Martin Scorsese.
Yes, which one was it?
None.
That's right, none of them. It was, do you know? Do you know the answer?
No.
It was the great auteur, Barbara Streisand, for Yentl. What are we doing?
I've seen Yentl too, man. No.
I've never seen it. Listen, I can already feel my friend Gallagher getting mad at me, and I just want to give him a shout out right off the bat. He's a huge
When did it even start?
He's a huge, but I know he's a huge Terms fan. It's 5-star movie for him.
I know.
But I just happen to know also that he thinks Yentl is a 5-star movie. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm talking shit all over his babies today.
Well, okay.
Not that I'm gonna talk too much shit about Terms. We're just
you better be honest. Don't
we're
be
gonna talk
sympathetic
Terms.
to
I'm not. Listen, I have my top 10 list for 1983 here. Revamped, highly revamped in my case. Man with Two Brains, no longer on it.
Me too.
Sadly.
Yeah.
What's your number 10? And this is how. Listen, go ahead. What's your number 10?
I have an honorable mention. I had to throw on there.
Fine.
Vacation.
That's not on your list?
It should be.
That's crazy.
It should be. It's a list that will probably be revamped again.
Of the two of us. The fact that
that's a good point.
Come on.
Okay, all right, I'm making a substitution.
No! You have to read the list as is.
I was just going to pull off something I looked at. And
Please
I can
don't.
pull it up. All right, I won't.
What's your number 10?
Christine.
My number 10, and this should show you what a bad year this is, Henry. It's Return of the Jedi.
Oh, wow. 'Cause
I
you
had
are
to put Jedi on there,
as we learned, you are not a fan.
as I learned.
Boy. Yeah, but I mean, okay. I mean, you could have found something else. No? Nothing?
I tried.
Jesus Christ.
I
All right.
couldn't, in good conscience, say that Man with Two Brains is better than Return of the Jedi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. My number 9 is the king of comedy.
My number 9 is The Dead Zone.
Yeah, got pulled for me. I wanted to try something new.
Well, it's because you already probably have a Cronenberg on there. I've got double Cronens on my list.
Yeah, I did. I did want to try something new. I have 2 editions that I looked when I was re-looking, and I haven't seen them in years, but I loved them a long time ago. Number 8, the great Michael Caine in the very underseen, underrated movie, Educating Rita.
Educating Rita, sure. A fine film. I thought you were going to say Blame It on Rio. I don't think it was that year.
That's not a good movie. Yeah.
My number 8 is Koyaanisqatsi.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that year placement.
I am. I checked.
Really?
Yep.
All right, I'm really batting 1,000 then. That's
right.
okay. I put this on number 7 mainly because it's a great movie that no one's ever seen in their lives. It's called The Star Chamber.
I only know about it because of you. It's a Michael Douglas joint.
Yeah, Michael Douglas, Hal Holbrook duo joint pre-Wall Street. Very cool movie.
Very cool. Very cool.
Bunch of judges who get together and decide to meet justice outside the courtroom.
Did he get cancer from spending too much time in the Star Chamber?
Yeah. Well, it depends on what star he was in there with. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, number 7 is Vacation.
All right. Number 6, Return of the Jedi, down several notches.
My number 6 is Christine.
All right. My number 5 is The Twilight Zone.
Oh, the movie
Yes.
with John Lithgow?
Yes.
Sure. My number 5 is a movie that did not murder anybody. Valley Girl.
My number 4 is Videodrome.
My number 4 is Zelig.
My number 3 is Trading Places.
My number 3 is The King of Comedy.
Oh, good. The number 2 movie of 1983 is Zelig.
My number 2 is Videodrome.
We're having similarities here. And my number 1 movie of 1983 still did not change, Risky Business.
Yeah, Risky Biz. I know. Risky Biz and...
I feel like you need a rewatch.
Yes, I was about to say that. And Trading Places. Both not on my list. Both very due for a rewatch from me.
Yeah, yeah.
My number 1 is Fanny and Alexander.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm due for a watch
The
of that
TV
series.
cut. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some terms.
We're talking terms.
That's what we're doing. La 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 la. Hey, it opens. It's listen. Right away. Now,
Right away.
Gallagher, my friend, he says perfect movie. I've got a quibble right away. Can we just get this right out of the way?
We got to get a lot of stuff, I think, right out of the way.
The score for this movie is god awful.
My first note, score is horrible, precious garbage.
My second note is score is 80s as shit.
That's interesting. I didn't think of it as being 80s. I didn't feel a date on it since I couldn't.
Oh, I felt a date on it. I mean, everything is synthesized through filters and bullshit. It sounds like garbage. It sounds like it was recorded in a tin can with like...
Sounds like I recorded it.
Some kind of electronic flautist is writing this shit.
Composer's name was Michael Gore, who
He
also
didn't work that much.
no, he did the score for Defending Your Life, which I love that movie, and I remember the score, and there are parts of this score that are identical. He's real into that dun 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 dun
That's right.
dun 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 ra da da
And you know why he
dee.
never had to work again, Henry?
No,
Because
I
he's
don't.
making that sweet moolah from a song he wrote a couple years before Terms.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote Fame. I'm gonna live
Oh,
forever.
I'm gonna learn how to fly. Fame. Yeah.
That's right. Sorry, I was having a seltz.
I wonder if Michael Gore is available to record any themes for us.
I'd love it. I know that he worked on the Mary Catherine Gallagher movie Superstar.
Oh, okay.
I
So he's
watched
done some
that.
good stuff.
I watched that like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a rewatch.
That was a rewatch.
Part of the rewatch project.
I've been watching a lot of SNL movies, Henry. I just watched The Ladies Man this past week.
Oh, how'd that treat you?
I'll tell you. This might be a little bit of a controversial opinion.
Ooh.
I'm not sure that character sustained the feature-length film.
I don't know why, but I was actually waiting for a serious.
Oh
I
boy.
mean, there was an SNL character who couldn't sustain a feature-length film. That's bizarre.
How many did sustain?
Wayne and Garth,
Is that it for you?
the Blues Brothers.
First of all, that movie is longer than feature length. That movie is too long.
You asked, I'm telling you.
I'm a fan of A Night at the Roxbury.
Oh, come on. Great. I mean, you got your Stuart Smalleys. You got
Yeah, that kind of is okay.
they don't really hold up. No.
I haven't watched it in a while. Hey, back to Terms. So, listen,
Come to terms.
it's an episodic film about the life of this Southern family. All right. Now, it starts out, Shirley MacLaine is the matriarch of the family. Deborah Winger's a baby, but she soon grows. We follow this family over the course of 30 years, but we spend most of our time in a period of about 5 years.
Okay. First point for me.
I'm ready.
I have now. You've seen this movie before, right? Or never?
Once, but it like was barely familiar to me.
Okay. I saw it a very, very long time ago, maybe 15, 16, 17 years ago. I remember, liking it. What I didn't remember at all was that I had no idea that this movie did so much time hopping.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I didn't even catch on to what was happening.
What are you talking about?
Because it's done in such a manner where it's like these little vignettes.
Yeah.
And so they'll sort of physically change somebody just a little bit. But it was very confusing in the beginning because Deborah Winger's has braces on.
Yeah, she's got a little retainer going.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so is she supposed to be like a teenager or a college student with braces? I found it rather bizarre, and then it would just kind of little screen time here for this, little screen time here for that, and I mean, I didn't know till after the movie was over and I was reading about it that this took place over 30 years.
Well, because it starts with Deborah Winger as a baby and it ends with
Right.
her dying. So,
Right.
if anything, it probably takes place longer than 30 years.
Years. Yeah. But it's just it didn't occur to me during the movie that this was this many. The fact that it
Well,
was
the
even
kids, Deborah Winger's kids grow up quite a bit.
Yeah, no. You're right. I mean, it's obvious in that manner. What I'm trying to articulate is that it just sort of happens, and I didn't really know I was supposed to be thinking about all this time passing because of the way the movie is cut. It
Yeah, it doesn't
don't feel
signpost it for you. There are no transitions. We only get one, like 1 year later at one point.
right. And I'm not even saying I needed that. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying I needed like 5 years later, 4 years later, but but the editing and the transitioning between the scenes, it's done like nothing has passed. So it did get a little bit bizarre. Uh,
I didn't mind that, actually.
no,
No, it's just sort of a series of scenes, but in chronological order over the course of many years. And I kind of liked the little side game of like, all right, where are we now?
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't.
I
But
look,
that, yeah,
I have a feeling I'm going to like this movie more than you. And
I had a feeling that you would too.
now, the knock on James L. Brooks movies is that they are sitcom-y. And I don't necessarily think that has to be a bad thing. Mary Tyler Moore Show and Taxi are two of the greatest sitcoms ever
Right.
made. They're often very dark. They're often very humanistic. The characters are as well drawn as any other show in existence. I think the characters here are pretty well drawn, and I like the idea that, honestly, for the first 90 minutes of this movie, we're making a comedy.
Yeah, right. That's right.
It
Yeah.
saddens up at the end because like and it's a weird thing that I wasn't necessarily expecting because the real like reputation of Terms of Endearment, it's like, oh, get those hankies out.
Well,
Oh.
but that's what happens, man. I mean, I think that that's what the movie is known for. I mean, the only other thing I remembered about it was that I remember watching Jack Nicholson back when I saw it and thinking he was hilarious and he was great.
Did he hold up
Um,
for you?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's an
he did.
astronaut.
He's still very funny. Um, but overall, it
I love
was.
that he's the next door neighbor, though. It's funny, like James L.
I mean,
Brooks.
that's
It's
ridiculous. Yeah.
definitely a film, but like he still has like the instincts of a sitcom writer. So
Right,
it's like
right,
all the
right.
characters have to like live next door to each other and
Yeah,
talk constantly.
walk in and out of each other's houses and shit,
Yeah.
like people do in real life.
Well, that
Uh,
happens way more in the Evening Star, but and you may or may not be quoting the Roger Ebert review I read.
he loved this fucking
No,
movie.
I didn't read his review of Terms. I wanted to read his 1.5 star review of the Evening Star, which we'll get to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe he did say that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um, I got should point out. I looked twice, two different sittings. I looked for a negative review of this movie, and it was very hard. I mean, I found that very strange because I thought that somewhere, someone, but I think it's because also it's one of those movies that for some reason just has not been re-watched by sites like AV Club or
They
IGN
have
or
though. Like, look, I'm on Letterboxd, and
right, right.
there are some modern critics that have put their star ratings up here.
hmm
So I'll give you Keith Ulick from Time Out New York. He's given this baby 4.5 stars out of 5.
Really? Okay.
I'm giving you Noel Murray from the AV Club. He's given it 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, so they're all good.
They're all good.
I,
Dave Sims from he writes for the Atlantic. He has a podcast called Blank Check. He's given this baby 4.5.
all
People
right.
love it.
Yeah. I guess here's the thing, and I'm prepared to take the heat. It's fine. I got no problem. I just the movie has this phoniness about it that I couldn't
Ooh.
get over. Uh, it's just very fake. I mean, I think the actors are all very good, but they're all also very cartoonish.
Not all
And
of them.
the high melodrama to me was just there's just no subtlety to it at all. No subtlety
I
at
think
all.
that's true, but I think we're making a comedy here.
Are we?
Yeah, I think we are. In fact, I read that James L. Brooks said that he cast Shirley MacLaine because she was the only actress who came in to audition that played it as a comedy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and I think that's a little bit to the movie's detriment. Like Shirley MacLaine is a little over the top for me in this movie.
A little bit.
Yeah, she honestly reminded me of another performance that got a lot of praise a few years ago that I did not care for, which was
Mm.
Melissa Leo in The Fighter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's an interesting comparison.
yeah, didn't
Yeah.
care for it. But
Okay.
I think some of the performances in this movie are fucking great. And I'm gonna point mainly towards the younger actors, and those are Deborah Winger and fucking Jeff Daniels, who I think is amazing in this movie.
Yeah, he's very good.
And the fact that he was not nominated for any of these thousands of awards this movie got is
Yeah,
ridiculous to me. Like John
right.
Lithgow is so much better than Jeff Daniels in this movie.
Yeah, no, I
Give me
agree.
my man Flap. I'll take Flap any day of the week. His character's name is Flap.
Can I read a little part of the Pauline Kael with
Sure, I'd
you?
prefer maybe you talk about the movie, but
Oh, excuse me. All right, no, that's fine.
no,
I
I
will.
like Pauline Kael. Let's hear what she has to say.
Well, no, because sometimes you have to find someone who's and by the way, she's the only person who gave it any sort of negative
She's the only person that gave a
review.
lot of movies their
Of course, well, very
negative
true,
review.
very true. All right, couple of points. I'll just put a couple because I put down circled like 7 of the things she said. I'm not going to do any of that. I'll just say 2 points she made. Quote: "There's nothing visually engaging in the movie except the actors." I
I
agree
think
with.
that's true. I want to say the who's the DP on this movie?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I have it here.
Because so much of it is shot in soft
Oh,
focus.
I remember it. A big name. We've covered him before.
Andre Barkoviak,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
who's a good, really good DP, and
Yes,
later
he
went
is.
on to direct like
Shit.
Doom, I think.
Right. But
Yeah.
here's the paragraph I'll read, and then I'm done with that, and then you'll get on to my opinion. But I think it's important to read it because it's such a movie that's not nobody. I want to take devil's advocate almost here. So Pauline Kael writes, Terms of Endearment is being compared to 2 high prestige award-winning pictures, Ordinary People and Kramer versus Kramer. And though Terms is both tackier and livelier than they are, the comparison is apt because it too is pious. And then she writes, Cancer gives the movie its message. Don't take people for granted. You never know when you're going to lose them. And it's what is infuriating about this movie is its calculated humanity. End quote.
Yeah, I think that's
And I agree with
true.
all of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but okay, I would compare it to Ordinary People and Kramer versus Kramer, 2 movies that I don't think are masterpieces, nor do I think this one is. And I would probably compare this favorably to Ordinary People and unfavorably to Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah, I would
Um,
compare unfavorably to both.
they are. They're like Oscar bait movies that don't have a naturalistic bone in their bodies.
Oh, wait. Okay, maybe I missed, but you don't think Kramer versus Kramer and Ordinary People feel more natural?
No.
Okay, I do, and I think that's mainly because of the writing. I really do.
To me, I think the Shirley MacLaine performance in this movie is very similar to the Mary Tyler Moore performance in Ordinary People.
I don't agree with that. I think Mary Tyler Moore is much more subtle and capable of much more with emoting far less.
I disagree. I don't know, man. Shirley MacLaine, I don't love her in this movie, but she's so much more watchable on like a visceral level to me. She's a movie star. I mean, I love Shirley MacLaine in general.
Do you?
Oh my God! I mean, like, I had to like adjust my head after I saw The Apartment for the first time because I was like,
Yeah.
she's an old woman. Like, you can't be in love with her from
Right.
like 50
Okay.
years ago or whatever.
Right.
Um, so I don't know, man. It's to me, Terms of Endearment. It's not naturalistic. It's soapy. It's sitcom-y, but it has something. It's got likable characters.
Yeah.
You
I think what it is it comes down to like a matter of almost beyond the craft of filmmaking, and for this movie, just more like what is going to get you, what's your taste or not. Like whether or not you like Aaron Sorkin's writing or not, you're going to like it or you're not. And, it's almost like that kind of
But
thing
the
going
thing
on.
is, I don't really like James L. Brooks's writing, and like I catch flack all the time for talking shit about broadcast news and
Right.
um as good as it gets and fucking. I mean,
Right.
like
Well,
this
I'm
is
not fans of those
to me
either.
this is his best movie. Like
Yeah.
like what has he made? Fucking Spanglish? Like who cares? Like to me he's
How did you
not a
know?
great filmmaker.
No.
What? How do I know? Oh, how do you know? Right. That's see. Fuck his titles. He sucks
Right.
at titling movies. Nancy
Right.
Myers is the same way. It's complicated. You
Right.
know.
Well, they don't feel like coming up with stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But fucking Terms of Endearment, it kept my interest throughout. I wish like I could like have someone rescore it and like.
Yeah, I mean that is I gotta say, we've talked about this before, but it hasn't come up too many times on the show. But this score, I mean, has the potential, depending on where you're coming from, to sink this
Oh,
movie
it's a
because
movie killer. It honestly
it's
is.
continuous.
I am
Yeah, I mean,
less likely to recommend this movie to somebody
right.
because of the score.
Because you would have to put the caveat on there. I mean, the score is so bad that you would have to say before, even if you recommend the movie, you would have to be like, yeah, but just so you
I know.
know, don't be turned off by the yeah. I
It's
mean,
like every time I recommend The Shield to people, the Michael Chiklis show,
yeah,
I
yeah,
always have to say, look, ball with the ball is used unironically in the pilot. But
right,
other
right,
than that, it's a great show.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know,
Um,
man. What else you got? It's
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's a very strange. I find it to be a very strange movie because of the way it's told. It seems like a confused movie to me.
I
It's
think that's crazy because like Annie Hall is the same way.
no. Oh, come on now, come on now. What I mean by that is that I'm not saying whether it knows it's a comedy or a drama.
It's
I'm
a
saying
comedy. It's 100% a comedy.
okay. I don't know that everyone would agree with that because honestly, dude, once like Deborah Winger gets the cancer, I
The
mean, I don't.
cancer's ridiculous. The cancer's my least favorite part of this fucking
Well,
movie.
but that is
Although
what.
some of the moments, the individual moments worked for me. Honestly,
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
cancer.
I agree. When she's talking to her little sons, I thought that was very effective.
That was good. And I like that there's like a subplot going through, like running throughout the movie of the older son sort of like realizing that his father is not a great guy.
I agree. I like
And
that too.
it's played pretty subtly. We just get like close-ups of him like looking at his dad like
Good. They're
quizzically.
good actors, kids, both
They
of
are
them.
good little
Yeah,
kid actors, man. I looked up to see if
yeah,
either of them had done anything.
yeah,
One of them did.
yeah.
Remember that part? Henry, remember the part in Scream
Hmm.
where those two guys run down the hallway in the ghost face masks, and then you get Henry Winkler. It cuts to the principal's office, and he expels them, and they're like, "Come on, Mr. Himbry, it was just a joke."
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, that's the older kid from Terms of
Oh, all
Endearment.
right. So he did well for himself. Did very well.
Oh, baby, I'm on
Yeah,
fire.
sure.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, Nicholson was the highlight. I mean, he comes in the movie and just it lifts. You kind
Yeah,
of
and
feel the
he's
movie
such a
lift,
smarmy little piece of shit, that character, but like
but he's hilarious. I mean,
because it's Jack Nicholson, he's likable.
when he has that scene in the car with those two girls who are just opining that he's such a letdown and a disappointment in person as an astronaut, and his facial, I mean, it's so ridiculous, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
no,
enjoyed Jack Nicholson
but I mean,
throughout.
I'd even, I'm not that, we don't have to wrap it up, but I would say that part of my, I'm confused a little bit because I think I know what you're going to give this movie, but
What do you
if you
think?
have, oh, I'm pretty sure you're going to give it a three.
That is what I'm gonna give it.
Right. And so my question to you is if the cancer is such a problem, how, I mean, look, that's the big thing in the movie, and it was the
It's
big
not,
thing in
but
the movie.
it's the
No, but it
you're
is because,
talking about it because that is what the movie is remembered for.
but well, that's right, but that has to count for
It
something.
doesn't.
You don't think that counts for anything? I mean, that's why people, that's like the big shocker. It's the big tear jerker. That's why it's called a tear jerker because
Didn't
of
jerk
that
my tears.
flame.
I did not cry watching this. And
Well,
you
neither
know
did
I
I.
cry at shit. I cry at Rory's high school graduation and Gilmore Girls. But um I cry at the loved ones episodes of Survivor all the time.
Right.
Fucking Hank, that is a half hour of this 2 hour and 9 minute
And
movie.
it's a massive part of the
It's
movie.
a big part of it's a quarter of the movie, and I liked a few parts of it. Her talking to the kids was good. I really liked when Flap, Jeff Daniels, showed up with that tie she likes.
Eh.
I thought that was a really nice moment. And I like
I
that Terms of Endearment has a lot of little artifacts like that, little like things that hold memories. That worked for me. And I also like after she dies, like the funeral shit at the end with like Jack Nicholson bonding with the kid and
right, right.
whatever.
Look, it's a well-made movie. You mentioned
It's
last
not
week.
that well made. That's the
Okay,
thing.
it's not a well-made. I'm trying to be nice.
You don't have to be. Like, I don't love this movie. It's a 3. Like you seem to be
No,
like acting like I'm like praising this thing to the high heavens.
yeah. It's kind of, for me, my ending summary would be it's all over the place. It's talking like it thinks people talk, but it's not how people talk.
That's
And
true.
yeah, and I find that very distracting. And so, certain people can pull that off with the stylized dialogue, but this isn't even, I wouldn't even compliment that to say it's stylized dialogue. It's just dialogue that just kind of happens, and
It's
things happen.
sitcom dialogue.
Yeah, and it didn't do it for me. And listen, I remember liking this movie quite a bit.
I
But it just, this
oh
time around, I am in camp. No, thank you.
I think
Yeah.
James L. Brooks understands humanity. And I think a lot of the characters felt really lived into me. And part of that is the performances. But I mean and
I think all of
I
that
mean
is
it's
the
a murderer's row of actors. But part of it is also just James L. Brooks, I think. I really loved Flap, Jeff Daniels cheating on Deborah Winger, and then Deborah Winger cheating with Lithgow, and then still being mad when she found out Flap cheated on
yeah,
her. And then when later in the movie when she's dying and Flap is talking about having cheated on her, she
right.
has the opportunity to tell him that she cheated with Lithgow and she doesn't take it because like her pride is still there even though she's like seconds from death. There were
Yeah,
like
that's it.
interesting things like that in
I,
this
I
movie.
agree. I just don't think they were well executed. I feel like they were good. There were a lot of good ideas in this movie, and I just like, even you mentioned the Lithgow thing. Like, that was another time jump jarring episode for me, where like I realized in during the movie, I'm like, oh wow, this has been going on for a very long time, and then they're like sitting in the restaurant, and he says something to her like, oh, it's been 11 months, and I was like, Jesus Christ, they just met yesterday. What? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I was.
that's what the movie is, man.
It's very odd. It's very odd.
Do you need like
Yeah.
timestamps at the bottom of every scene?
I said I did not.
I know, I'm
I I,
joking. I'm
I need
joking.
better dialogue. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Uh, you
Um,
know.
you know, I they shouldn't have had so many kids. I'm with Shirley MacLaine.
I agree. I'm proud of you for being kind to this Best Picture winner.
It's
Uh,
not that bad. Like it's
right.
probably in if I'm ranking all the best
I
picture winners,
almost did that.
this
I
is like
almost did
middle
that.
of the road.
I feel the same way.
Like there are
I
so many worse ones and a
there are
lot better
there
ones.
there really are. I one article I found was is this the worst Best Picture of all time? And then
Not
but and I
even
would
close.
and that's what the article ends up concluding. It was a very well written article because I think the final sentence was um, worse than Crash, not by a mile, not by a minute, not.
Yeah, I mean this is a
So
better
no.
movie. I mean, looking at recent Best Picture winners, this is a better movie to me than Slumdog Millionaire.
Agreed, agreed.
Yeah, this is a better movie than The King's Speech.
No.
This is a better movie than. I mean, what's one recently, Hank? It's not. It's
Um,
not better than Moonlight. It's not better than 12 Years a Slave. It's what won this
not.
year?
Uh,
Oh, fucking
uh,
Shape of Water won this year.
there you go.
Terms of Endearment is a better movie than The Shape of Water.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I imagine I would probably be on your side with that. I mean, I don't know, but
Not a single character fucks a fish in Terms of Endearment.
is it
Nobody.
better than Chariots of Fire, which I've never seen?
I've never seen that either.
Yeah, it's better than Amadeus. I'll tell
It's
you that.
not better than Amadeus, and how dare you say that the week Milos Forman passed?
Yeah, I only knew he passed because I saw it on Twitter on our Twitter account.
Yeah.
'Cause you
I
said I would
wrote
be
that
watching.
Henry is the only person who will be watching Goya's Ghosts in commemoration of Milos Forman's death. Is
Maybe I
that
would have.
true?
No, I watched nothing. I was working on my computer for 7 hours, so I didn't get to watch anything. But if I were to watch a Milos Forman movie in commemoration, it would be One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Sure. I mean, Milos Forman, just to bring him up for a
Love him.
quick second,
Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
did he ever make a bad movie?
Besides Amadeus,
I
probably
love
not.
Amadeus. I mean, they're all great. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Fucking Valmont's pretty underrated.
Yeah, I always wanted to see that. Yeah,
Man on the Moon is great. People versus Larry Flint is great, and made my
yeah.
1996 list probably just because I feel bad about Milos Forman dying. And I've never seen Goya's Ghost, but you seem to stand the fuck by it.
I love that movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
looking at him right now. He deserves a minute of our time for sure. Yeah, I don't. I mean, he made a couple of. Oh, he made Hair too.
And that's a fucking great movie.
It really is good. I
Yeah,
know. I hate
dark and
musicals.
cool. And
Yeah,
I've never seen
yeah,
that movie. He did Ragtime too, right? I've never seen that one.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, no, he's great. He's wonderful, and he will be missed.
Yeah, his movies
That's
have a lot more personality than James L. Brooks's. I mean, James,
uh,
that's not even true though, because James L. Brooks. Say what you will about his movies, they do have a personal stamp. They all feel a certain
okay.
way.
Yeah, but I mean,
you
Milos Forman is.
you may not like that, but
Well, they might. Yeah, sure. No, I agree with you. They do have a personal stamp, and I actually know from just us being friends, and you've said it on the podcast in some more subtle ways that you definitely appreciate.
I
Like,
value a personal
yeah,
style.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you would take a James L. And I don't know if this might be bad comparison because I don't know if you would, but an example would be like you would prefer a James L. Brooks type director to a Ron Howard type director.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
James L. Brooks, and okay, like here's a great example. I think Alan Parker has made more good movies than James L. Brooks, but I prefer James L. Brooks to Alan Parker just
I do
because he
not,
has
and
a
I
fucking
think Alan
style.
Parker. Well, okay. I don't mean to I don't mean to shit on you, but Alan Parker's got a very definitive style, man. I mean, Midnight Express and Angel Heart alone have that gritty fucking
I know.
blues.
Life of David Gale. I
Good call. Nice one. By the way, I'm just looking at Milos Forman. He didn't do that many movies.
No, he's like a James L. Brooks. He would
Yeah.
like reemerge every few
And
years.
and his last movie was Goya's Ghost,
That's
which I
right.
didn't realize. That's 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he went out on a high note for me.
Sure. And just for you. All right,
And
what do you give Terms of Endearment?
I'm giving Terms of Endearment 2 stars.
All right, I give it a 3. Who's your MVP?
Nicholson.
I'm gonna go with Deborah Winger. You know, I don't know a lot about Deborah Winger. I don't know that I've ever really seen her in anything.
Oh, I saw her. I like her in An Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah.
She's good in that. I never saw Urban Cowboy. I
Oh,
did see
yeah.
her. Yeah, I did see her in a movie in the theater last year called The Lovers, and she was excellent in that. Even though the movie was not excellent, she was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very, very good actress.
She's pretty great in this.
Yeah.
And maybe I gotta see some more Deborah Winger shit.
Yeah. Well, I think you would appreciate The Lovers. I think you would dig
I
it.
heard good things about that. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
finally see Legal Eagles. I've always wanted to see that.
Legal.
Yeah.
Go. Perfect. I do have a LVP, sorry.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to Jeff Daniels, who I think is the underappreciated member of this ensemble.
I think it's his first movie.
Is it?
I think so.
He's great.
Check me on
He's
that,
great
but
in this.
yeah.
Holds the screen.
Yeah.
Love him. I would see an entire movie about Flap. And I was very sad. I assumed he'd be in the Evening Star, and he wasn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I checked that already before I watched. I had never seen Evening Star, but we're getting there. But yeah, he's not in there. So
Who's your LVP?
My LVP is James L. Brooks.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, what the movie didn't work for me.
I'm
and
gonna.
it wasn't any of
That's
the
fine.
actors'
That's
fault.
fine. I'm gonna go Shirley MacLaine.
Wow.
I know.
See, that's a massive hit. You know, if she doesn't work for you,
I think Deborah Winger is in it
Does.
enough that she holds the movie for me. Whenever we were hanging out with Deborah Winger, like during the whole Lithgow section of the movie,
yeah.
anytime we were dealing with Shirley MacLaine, I was like, get me back to Winger and Lithgow.
Oh, I agree.
That being said, during that section of the movie, every time MacLaine was on screen, we at least got Jack.
Right.
And Jack is full Jack in this movie. He's got an open shirt and sunglasses indoors. Ooh, Jack.
He's a fucking maniac. He's great. And I gotta say, I think I think you'll agree with me. I don't know. I think the scene that would epitomize the poorness of McLean's annoyance and is that scene in the hospital where she goes insane at the nurses and the doctors and all that about the pain medication. I mean, it's so...
I did not mind that. I thought that was kind of interesting because my father just got out of the hospital, and sometimes in the hospital, like they won't. They're like my dad.
Oh, I didn't say it couldn't happen. I
Right.
just think the way she pulled it off, and I understood the her
fact
emotions.
that like in her mind. Her daughter had to wait
Being
till
ignored.
10 o'clock to get the pain meds, and now it was after 10, and she didn't have the pain meds yet. And so she just felt like the only thing she could do is fucking freak out about that, and that kind of worked for me. Look, I don't think Shirley MacLaine's an Oscar performance in this movie, but I mean, she's my LVP in a fairly stacked cast.
Right, I see. All right, yeah. That's... fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
Yep. Now,
right,
of course, would this movie be better if original choices Kim Basinger played the Deborah Winger part?
Yes.
You think that would be better?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. How about this? Burt Reynolds turned down the Jack Nicholson role to be in Stroker Ace.
I read that. Oddly enough, and Nicholson's like my favorite actor of all time, but I could actually see Burt Reynolds kind of
Oh,
in
he
this
would have
role.
nailed it, dude.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. He totally would have. He would have been great. I read he regretted that decision too.
Well, duh. Who fucking
Yeah,
remembers Stroker Ace? This won Best
yeah,
Picture.
yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. All right. All right. Oh, what's the superhero count?
Three, three big ones.
All right. Jack Nicholson's the Joker.
Correct. Danny DeVito.
Oh, that's right. He's around, coming off a Taxi.
Right.
James L. Brooks using his man, his dispatcher, and
Yeah. So
yeah, he's the
you know what
Penguin.
he was
Couple
in.
Batman villains.
Yeah. And Deborah Winger was in an episode of Wonder Woman in the 70s playing Wonder Girl.
Sure, she'd be a
Isn't
good
that
Wonder Girl.
something?
I
She
bet that
really would.
worked. Yeah,
Good Wonder Woman.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. All righty.
You ready to talk about the Evening Star?
I'm so
I'm excited.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right. The Evening Star comes to us 13 years later. But God, there's only 13 years separating 1983 and 1996, but it feels like an eternity.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a new director. James L. Brooks has nothing to do with this movie. He's just printing money from Simpsons merchandise in 1996.
Good point.
Everyone in America is wearing a Bart Simpson T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Our new director is a fellow named Robert Harling. This was his directorial debut. He'd made his name as a screenwriter. He'd written Steel Magnolias, which, I mean, in many ways is a spiritual successor to Terms of Endearment.
That's got somebody dying of cancer too, right?
And it's, I think, Southern ladies, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, it's not surprising to me that this guy got chosen to do this movie. And, of course, Larry McMurtry, the writer of the novels, came on to
Larry McMurtry.
yeah, he came on to co-write this movie. So yeah, that fucking guy Robert Harling, he had written Steel Magnolias, Soap Dish, and The First Wives Club before the Evening Star. So he was like prime picking to do a Terms of Endearment sequel. Yeah. So he's directing. This was the first movie he ever directed and the last. His only directing credit on IMDb.
Okay.
It was released. Yep, it was released Christmas Day, 1996, just in time for Oscar season.
Sure.
A budget of $20 million, box office of $12 million. It came in. Yeah, it was a tank, baby. It came in at number 113 at the box office that year.
Ouch.
Did slightly better than the Spitfire Grill. Not as good as Marvin's Room. All right.
Oh, with your man, right? DiCaprio.
Well, back then he was just a little boy.
No, you still hated him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pussy Posse was already a thing, I think, in 1996.
Probably.
Yeah. You have your top 10 list for 96? I'm really excited about this list. And my list is ridiculous.
Mine kind of is too.
So it's 1996 is a great year, and I have a lot of personal faves on this. So
me too.
I wrote down 20 fucking movies.
Oh my God, so did I. Wait, I had 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20. I have 27.
That's ridiculous.
27.
So I started out with movies like, because I had such a hard time making my 1983 list that I was like, I better just write down every movie that I like.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
And so I have like Independence Day here, and then like it very quickly became clear to me that this is a year that's not going to have movies.
Yeah,
like that
I have The Rock written down.
Yeah. So like here's some examples of movies that didn't make the list include The Cable Guy, Flirting with Disaster, Secrets and Lies, Beautiful Girls, Walking and Talking, Dead Man, Freeway, Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie, and of course, Fear.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I'll read some of mine that didn't make the list.
Go ahead.
While we're being ridiculous. Beautiful Girls used to be on my list. Took it off. Big Night. Bottle Rocket.
Mm.
The Arrival.
Oh, what a Charlie Sheen movie! You know, I was
Yeah.
reading about The Arrival recently because I love that
Yeah.
movie.
Great.
And did you know there's a direct-to-DVD sequel? We could cover it.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
We should fucking do The Arrival.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Michael Collins, Mission Impossible, Primal Fear, Sleepers, Sling
Sure,
Blade,
all great.
Trees Lounge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts. So, yeah, I did kind of a personal phase thing too. So,
All right,
all
so
right.
let's hear it.
All right. Number 10, Breaking the Waves,
My number 10, I went People Larry Flint, man.
came off my list.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Good timing for me to do that.
Well, I specifically made sure it stayed on there.
I didn't know. I did this list like 4 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 9, Swingers.
My number 9 is Citizen Ruth.
The only Alexander Payne movie I have not seen.
That's not
or
true. You haven't
Downsizing.
seen Downsizing, baby.
So there'll be one that I will be seeing. Yes.
Downsizing. Gang, if you haven't seen Downsizing, check it out. It's watchable for 45 minutes, and then, holy shit, are you in for a treat?
Oh man,
Whew.
almost making me want to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
Number 8, Mother Night.
What is that?
Kurt Vonnegut adaptation with Nick Nolte. It's phenomenal.
Who
I've
directed
always loved it. Keith Gordon. Christine's Keith Gordon.
Who is that? Oh, the actor from Christine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What else
I've
has he
always loved
directed?
Mother Night, and he's done a lot of television. You should look him up right now.
I'm
You'll be
looking him
extremely
up.
Impressed.
Yep.
Huh?
Some Fargo, some Leftovers, some
Yeah.
some The Bridge.
Mhm.
Yeah, not too many other movies though.
Right. No. He went to TV.
All right.
Mother Night's great.
All right, what number is that?
8.
All right, my number 8 is Crash, the Cronenberg Crash.
Almost. Yep. My number 7 is The Cable Guy.
Nice. My number 7 is Swingers.
Okay. My number 6 is Get on the Bus.
Oh, so good. Yeah, that was another one I thought about.
Sure.
Spike Lee had a year that he made 2 movies in 1996, and they're both movies I think are really good, but like neither were quite enough to make the list for me. What
was the other one?
The other one was Girl 6.
That's an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it could make my top 10. But
My number, what was that, 6?
yeah.
My number 6 is Bottle Rocket.
Yeah. All right, here's a big one for me. This was never on anything. Number 5, Kenneth Branagh's version of Hamlet.
Very good movie.
Really is. Oh, I thought you'd give me shit for that.
No, I like that. Weirdly, like, there are 3 versions of Hamlet in the space of 10 years, and I like all 3 of them.
I do too. Boy,
Yeah.
you even like the Mel Gibson one, huh?
I like the Mel one, man. And
Very good.
And I like the Ethan Hawke.
So did I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5 is Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Never saw it.
Mm.
My number 4 is Fargo.
My number 4 is Breaking the Waves.
Ooh, yeah. My number 3 is Hard 8.
Fuck.
That'll change it up if you forgot that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
All right. Fuck.
No changes.
All right.
Next time
I'm changing it. That'll be like number 4 or something. That's an amazing movie. Okay. What are we at?
That was my 3, number 3.
All right. My number 3, moving significantly higher on the list. And just because I got to be honest, Tank.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little movie called Scream.
Oh, that's okay. I thought you were going the other way with that. All
Nope.
right, interesting. Good for you. Good lot of balls on that.
Yeah,
lot of balls.
Listen, I can't deny my overarching love of that film.
Well, nor should you, and nor should I for the number two movie of that year, which is The English Patient.
Oh, I forgot it's 1996. I should have been waiting for the English Patient to
I
show
was
up.
thinking you were. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking you were.
Well, now I know what your number one is. It'll be my number two, Train Spotting.
My number one is Train Spotting.
And my number one is Fargo.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. What a hell of a year.
Hell
Jesus.
of a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Henry, the Evening
Yeah.
Star.
Evening Star.
Now, before the movie even starts, you're just getting those, the studio.
Yeah.
The studio title cards. And like it's fucking the fanfare from Star Wars or something. They're like, let's settle you in. You know where you are. Talking terms. La da 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 da.
I mean, you don't have a fucking second to breathe. They pull you right in.
It's right. It's like before the movie even starts, you have that fucking song.
Yeah, it's great. I was so relieved that I got to hear it again.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
again with the rare recording.
Ooh, baby. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Your whistle sounds like a pan flute.
Okay.
I feel like there should be satyrs and centaurs.
Well, that's kind of what the score is like.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah.
There's so many flutes.
A lot of flutes.
A lot of flute trills.
Just lots of trills.
All right. So then we're getting back in it, checking in on this family. All right. Now, at the end of terms, Winger died and bequeathed her 3 children to her grandmother, Shirley MacLaine, rather than giving them to the father, Flap, who she thinks would have not raised them properly. Now, so Shirley MacLaine, Granny, as she's called throughout this movie, is the new mother figure to these kids. And frankly, with what we learn about the kids very early on in this movie, they probably should have gone with Flap.
Yeah, I think that might have been a better move.
So we get set up. There's what do you know the names of these actors? One of the kids, the oldest one, he's in jail.
Yeah, the one who was real moody in the first one. The one who didn't like Deborah Winger, quote unquote.
Yeah, and he's a good actor, this guy.
George Newbern.
What's his name?
George Newbern.
George Newbern. TV character actor. He's been in a lot of shit. Friends fans will remember him as Danny the Yeti, who had an inappropriate relationship with his sister.
I remember him from Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh my God, going way back.
Yep. When I was a kid, I remember Elizabeth Shue because she was like one of my crushes as a kid. And I remember her idiot boyfriend or whatever. That's that guy, I think. In there.
He's a good actor. He's got a little bit of like a Giovanni Ribisi vibe about him.
That's funny. I got more of a Paul Rudd vibe.
Oh, that when he was younger, like in this movie, there is a Paul Rudd vibe. I think
definitely.
Now he's got more of a Ribisi thing going on.
Nah.
But that's a good catch. This could very well have been Paul Stephen Rudd.
Yeah, that's right around the time, man. Yeah, sure.
I think same year, or maybe a year later. Yeah.
Right.
Now he's in jail. Then you got this other kid who's like, what's going on with the other boy? He's like barely a character in this movie.
I don't even understand this character at all, this guy.
He's married, but Shirley MacLaine's always talking shit about his wife.
He's not married. That's why she's mad, because he's got this kid. It's his girlfriend.
Oh, right.
Married.
They've got a bastard.
Fucking kid out of wedlock. But this guy, and everyone... When he keeps talking about how Tommy's in jail and he's a mess, but I feel like in this movie they shit more on the middle kid for just being a fucking car mechanic.
Well, I'd like to shit on him
Leave him
too, because he's
alone.
fucking boring. At least like the
Well,
other
he
two
is
have
boring.
storylines.
I agree. I'm talking about within their world. Like if I was part of that clan,
Yeah, he'd
I'd be
probably
like,
be the good child.
yeah, I'd be like, get off this kid's back. He's got a job. He's a mechanic. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he made the best of it.
Yeah, Christ
Now,
Almighty.
then you've got Juliette Lewis, the great Juliette
Well,
Lewis,
yeah, yeah.
who is the daughter who like barely knew Deborah Winger. She was like real young when Deborah Winger died, and she is like a sort of like I don't know. Robert Harling, I assume, was like a 60-year-old white guy who'd like never known counterculture in his life. So,
Obviously.
so like she's sort of like what old white guys probably thought grunge kids were at the time. Like she's sort of like an outsider's conception of Gen X.
That's well put.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I was very surprised right away was that I did not remember until we started covering this movie, like when we chose it. I really didn't pay attention to the exact year, and you realize how important that is when you're charting an actor's filmography. Because to me, this would be like a role I would understand that Juliette Lewis might take in like 1992. But she had already been in, Natural Born Killers and California and Husbands and Wives and What's
But
Eating
Henry,
Gilbert Grape and Cape
Henry,
Fear. And it's like,
all
why would she do this?
because you don't listen. We now know that this movie was a horrible failure. But back then it was the sequel to a movie that won 5 Oscars.
You think her agent just said,
I
"Look,
think
take
her
it"?
agent was like, Juliette Lewis, get in this Terms of Endearment sequel. Maybe you'll win an Oscar.
I don't really like the
It
script.
doesn't matter. Maybe they didn't even have a script.
Have a conversation with her agent and Juliette
Think
Lewis
about it.
discussing.
What's 13 years ago today? What's all right. So 2005. What won Best Picture that year?
Crash?
All right. That's a bad example.
No, I know what you're saying. I mean,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, someone comes out with Master and Commander 2.
That's a bad example too.
Gladiator.
Sure,
Sequel to
sure. If there was a sequel to Gladiator that came out today with like an elderly Russell Crowe, like the next generation of gladiators, and Ridley Scott
right.
was
You're
directing
right.
it, it'd be a big deal.
Well put, because I mean, I was thinking about, like, I always look at it like, oh, they must have read the script and just said I don't care, but sometimes that's not the case. You're right. It's like if that would be like, it'd be like if Gladiator was made but Ridley Scott was not involved, but Russell Crowe was all over that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I get to work with Russell Crowe. I'll be seen with Russell Crowe. Yeah, all right.
So there we go. And Juliette Lewis, of course, has a grunge boyfriend in this movie, played by the great Scott Wolf from Party of Five.
Lots of 80s music in here. We do get a time chart.
Yeah, that's true. They are hanging out listening to Just Like Heaven at one point. And
It says 1988 at the beginning, I think.
it doesn't feel like 1988. Like this movie,
No,
every single moment of this movie feels like 1996.
I agree.
Yeah. And that's one thing Terms of Endearment does well. It's not like they signpost the time period, but everything is just sort of natural in a way, like we don't, like the time doesn't matter. But like in this movie, there's like song choices and like posters on the wall. They're like trying to tell you what time it is, but
And you know what? Yeah. You know what? You just pointed out something that I should have articulated before in terms of endearment. I guess that's one of the not even a problem. My shortcoming on watching Terms of Endearment was, unless you agree with me, I didn't notice like a through the years like change of fashions or change of hairstyles
There were
or
like
cars.
subtle changes. That's the thing.
Real
Like
subtle.
in Evening Star, like they signpost shit. It's like, oh, that
Oh
character has
yeah,
a mustache. It's
total opposite. It's
ridiculous.
the total opposite. It's over the
Yeah,
top. Terms of endearment at times these were so subtle I didn't even understand what decade we were in until the end. You know,
yeah.
and I'm
Now,
still not sure because Juliette Lewis is what is she 15? So this Terms of Endearment is supposed to have ended in like 1973 because it's like
no,
15 years
no, no, no,
later.
no. I believe Terms of
Yeah, you
Endearment
now
ends late 70s.
late 70s, which would make Juliette Lewis's character 10 years old. It's 1988,
I
dude.
don't know, man.
That's
Listen,
what I'm saying.
trust in Larry McMurtry. He's a genius. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. She can't be 10 years old because she's fucking in front of her
Yeah.
grandmother in this
Well,
movie.
we should say early 70s. That movie ended very early.
All
I don't
right,
know.
we'll
Anyway,
have
who
to.
cares?
Why not?
Yeah.
Lewis and Scott Wolf, they're boning all over the place. Now, the only actors from Terms that reappear in this movie are Shirley MacLaine and Jack Nicholson, Too Little Too Late. And
Not that right.
but there are characters from Terms of Endearment that appear
Oh,
with
yeah.
new actors.
Sure.
So, for one thing, there's Shirley MacLaine's maid slash best friend, I guess.
Whole lot of Rosie. Yeah.
Rosie, who is clearly just a random Latina housekeeper in Terms of Endearment. But in the Evening Star, she's fleshed out into a character who is still named Rosie, but is now Marion Ross.
Yeah. Marion Ross. Yeah.
Sure.
She's not too bad in this.
Listen, Marion Ross is a good actress, but like,
Right. Oh,
it's such a weird choice to spend this much time on her housekeeper. Especially when she is her housekeeper. Like, they keep having conversations like, you're not just my housekeeper, you're my friend. But that's not how that works.
that's correct.
Um,
Yeah.
and she's white now for some reason.
Yeah.
There's also...
You notice that too?
Yes. Deborah Winger has a best friend in Terms of Endearment. This character, Patsy, or Patty, maybe. And
Patsy. Yeah.
she's like this random, understated young actress in the original.
Yeah, I kind of liked her.
I did like her. And then, like, they recast her in this movie with Miranda Richardson doing her best with an American accent.
She's doing, I mean, I think she's one of the better actresses out there. And I'll never forget her in The Crying Game. I thought she was superb in that.
I'll never forget her as Rita Skeeter in the Harry Potter films.
I knew you were going to say that. She was also great in Cronenberg's Spider.
Sure, yeah, she was great in that. Listen, she's good too. They're all good. But these are shit characters. And so, like, she is in no way the character from the original movie where, like, in that movie, she was, like, a viable option to, like, raise the kids.
Exactly.
And they went with Shirley MacLaine. But in this movie, she is just, like, this crazy fucking drunk who's, like, just fucking and being weird all the time. Like, hey, I'm a crazy Southern belle, ladies and gents. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It's really ridiculous. Yeah.
So I fucking hated that character, and we spent so much time on that character. And a lot of the reason we spent so much time on all these characters is because, like, you're right. People do remember the fucking cancer shit from Terms of Endearment. So in this movie, like, it's like an action movie where, like, every 15 minutes you need an action beat. Like, in this fucking movie, every 15 minutes someone's gotta die tragically.
Oh yeah.
It sucks.
I think there's 3 deaths. But there
My
might be more.
favorite, my favorite was that guy with the super white eyebrows who just
Oh
like
yeah,
drops dead at dinner one night.
the great Donald Moffat from The Thing.
They're just like in a restaurant, and all of a sudden he's dead.
Yeah.
And right before he dies, he says like, he's
He
singing
says the
like the
famous, that's a
diarrhea song or
famous, yeah.
something.
No, it's a famous thing that soldiers sang in World War II about Hitler.
Diarrhea,
That's the
diarrhea.
one. That's the one.
Yeah. Now, fucking hell. We haven't even gotten to Bill Paxton, who's in this movie.
The only guiding light.
Is he?
Yeah, well, I know. I wrestled with that.
Well, first you
But
hear
yeah.
him before you see him, and he's singing "Beyond the Sea," and I'm getting nervous. I'm like, somebody go behind the scenes and check to see if this guy has his hands in a little boy's pants. But it
is
turned
not a
out
knock
not to be Kevin Spacey. It was
was
Bill
just gonna say.
Paxton.
Not a knock against Bobby Darin. That was a Kevin Spacey joke.
Yeah. So Paxton, he's Shirley MacLaine's therapist in this movie, but he's also, even though Shirley MacLaine is patently an old fucking lady in this movie, he wants to fuck her.
Big time.
Big time. There's like one scene where Paxton is like showing her a photograph of his mom. And like he says to her like, "Ooh, my mom, she was like a showgirl." And she says she had the best legs on the line. And then like McLean crosses her legs and Paxton's just checking out these old legs.
Yeah.
Checking out these decrepit stems of hers.
That sounds like a line that his character in Aliens would have said. What do you want us to do now, man? Walk on our decrepit stems?
Yeah.
Game over.
So he turns out to be a horrible creep. Like he just wants to like bone this old lady because he has mommy issues, and like that's this whole weird section of this movie. And then he also bangs Patsy.
It's terrible, but it's Bill Paxton.
Yeah,
in a sea of shit.
He's not good. Listen, I love Bill Paxton. My impulse is to say he's good in everything, even if it's shitty. Right. But I don't think there was being good in this movie.
I don't know, man. I mean, you're probably right, but I'm you know that I'm strictly thinking about the MVP. You know, I'm watching this thing and I'm going, who is
Paxton's not my MVP.
That's how engaging this movie was. I was thinking about who my MVP was going to be almost through the entire movie.
Is it Paxton?
Yeah. It was almost Juliette Lewis. But
I'm going with George Newbern.
Yeah.
The prison son. I found him pretty likable. His character had a through line. I was weirdly invested in him ending up with that girl he meets in the last like 5 fucking minutes of the movie.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I know. And he's there when McLean dies in that chair. That garbage scene.
Oh my god, dude. Granny? Oh, she's awake. Okay.
And she wakes up. Oh, I'm alive. I was in a bright place, and I had a daughter there, and gosh, I was so loved.
Boom. Mic drop.
And then she's dead again.
Again. I
call that a real Branagh situation.
God damn it.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, man. It's a crazy movie, and it's one of those movies where like everyone that doesn't die has like a ridiculously happy ending. Like Scott Wolf, what we really needed from this Terms of Endearment movie is a Hollywood subplot. Scott Wolf from Party of Five, from Everwood, one of my favorite actors. I almost gave him the MVP in this. If he was in it more, I would have. I think he's an underrated TV actor. So he should stay on TV though. He moves to Hollywood with Juliette Lewis to be a model, and then he starts like cheating on Juliette Lewis, and they break up, and Juliette Lewis just like falls ass backwards into like a sitcom audition.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Robert Harling has the nerve in this shitty fucking movie, which is a sequel to a much better movie that was written and directed by a sitcom creator, to like add in this subplot about how stupid sitcoms are. So like there's like she goes in for this audition and they call her back in for another audition, and the line producer of the show, like she goes, "I was terrible," and the line producer says, "Don't worry, this is television."
Ooh, that line must have hurt you.
I mean, I just like, why would you put that in a James
Yeah, I
L.
don't
Brooks
know.
sequel? Like,
Yeah, it's true.
like if there's
Maybe you didn't like
any
it.
fucking movie that proved that the like the talent it takes to write a successful long running sitcom, to like Terms of Endearment proved that that talent is transferable to films.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
now
No.
the sequel to that movie, which is a piece of fucking shit. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it.
I wrote a note. I think you might want to hear it. I
I'm
did write
ready.
a note. Okay. One of two notes I wrote on my giant page. Um, a maudlin, mawkish, calculated piece of shit. Yeah.
One of my notes is for she's a jolly good butthole. Because the daughter sings that at one point.
The son.
Oh, yeah. For she's a jolly good butthole. I like
That's
that
really,
part.
yeah. You know, it's funny. I remember when this movie came out because this was in my I was, 18. This was in my
Ooh,
extraordinarily
barely
snuff.
legal. Barely legal Henry.
And
On the prowl.
you remember last week you said fuck, you made me lose my train of thought. Um
Go
uh
on.
I'm trying. Oh, anyway, I remember the movie. Oh, yes. You remember last week you said how you were snobbier at one point about film?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Well, these were my years where I
Okay.
was huge fucking snob. And so 17, 18, 19, forget about it. So, but of course I was right in this instance. But like this was one of those movies like when I would be going to the movies, to see like, Breaking the Waves or whatever. And then I'd see like a poster somewhere for the Evening Star. I would have just fucking pissed all over that fucking poster.
Like David Duchovny in the X-Files movie.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, I mean, I remember when this movie came out, it was like highly marketed. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was
Well, that's what I'm
all
saying.
over
Yeah,
the place as like the
that's right.
sequel to Terms of Endearment,
That's
and
right. Right.
it was a big deal. Like I knew it. Like I
Well,
was
it's a big.
10 years old, and I was able to understand that for some reason this was a big deal. Like clearly this
Yeah.
is a sequel to something that's considered a classic movie. Terms of Endearment came out before I was fucking born, so
Right.
like I
Right.
didn't really know. I hadn't seen it at this point.
Right. Right.
Jack Nicholson was just the Joker to me. Like I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
what
Of
did I
course.
know him in when Evening Star came out? I think I'd seen Wolf.
10 years old. Yeah. By '96, I was already like full throttle. Obviously,
So
it's fucking
did
18.
Jack Nicholson's appearance in this movie not sway you to want to see it a little bit?
Nope, not even close. And I
What did you
remember
What
at the.
did you think of him in it? Because there he does show
Oh,
up.
I thought you were
It's
going to think what. I thought you were going to ask me what I thought of him being in it at the time
no, I
when
mean
I
it
was
makes
a
sense that
snob.
he'd do this movie, but like
I didn't hold it against him.
it's
Yeah.
a
Uh,
cameo. He shows up and hangs out for like 10 minutes, maybe.
yeah. He's fine. He's given a couple of pithy lines, and I mean, there's not much for him to
Oh
do.
yeah, she's all I'm still looking for the love of my life. And what's his line?
Something about like so gonna be in last days of shopping or coming
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
I don't know. No matter what he delivers, it's always funny. But it's just he's what's the point? I mean,
I know. He
what's the
drives fucking Shirley MacLaine around on the beach to like spread her maid's
that I was waiting for
ashes.
that
It's so
sequence.
fucking stupid.
Oh my god! Because and also it takes your to your point about Harling having a lot of balls to make like that sitcom statement. It takes a lot of balls to like pull this together, get Jack Nicholson back into the movie, and that's all you got for him.
But I think that's probably what Jack Nicholson gave them. I think he said, "All right, you got me
Right,
for
right.
2 days."
That's probably very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if Larry McMurtry and Robert Harling had the option to put Jack Nicholson next door to Shirley MacLaine for the
They
entirety
would
of
have.
this movie, they would have. But they
Yeah.
only had him for 2 days, so they had it so that they broke up long ago, and Jack Nicholson went off and like formed a family with a younger woman. Which, by the way, great job, buddy. Like, great job escaping this shitty fucking family with its jailbird sons and its
Yeah.
crazy ass Shirley MacLaine.
Right.
Oh,
You know why he only had 2 days to work on this movie? Because he had to go across the lot to work on the James L. Brooks movie.
as good as it gets. It's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
What
You
else
know
did he
that's
do in
what he's
90? Yeah, it's true. That's 97. This is
Right.
Christmas of 96. That is probably
Sure,
what
he
he
was
was fucking
filming it.
working on.
Yeah. I gotta go do the original director, the auteur version of this shit.
Let's see. 96. He was
Mars
in
Attacks.
Mars Attacks, Blood and Wine, and then As Good as It
Oh,
Gets.
that is a fucking great movie, Blood and Wine.
I don't know it.
I thought it was
Ooh,
97.
Bob Raffleson.
You never saw Blood and Wine? We had this conversation.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, dude! You gotta see that's Bob Raffleson. It's Michael Caine and Jack Nicholson. A little early J Lo.
Oh, you know I love early J Lo. Give me that
Early J-Lo is
U-turn.
the best. It's that J Lo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, out of sight. She's out of sight.
Sure. I love that Robert Harling went on after this movie to never be allowed to direct another movie and to indeed create some pretty shitty sitcoms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. Let's hear.
First, he a show that's very similar to the Evening Star. That it was originally titled "Good Christian Bitches" until ABC, the network it was on, got cold feet and retitled it GCB, which stands for nothing.
Okay.
That was a Kristen Chenoweth show that lasted a couple episodes. And then he created an Eva Longoria sitcom called Telenovela that only ran for a season.
Oh boy.
So fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robert Harling the third, by the way.
I hope he gets run out of TV, too.
Well, he did, I guess.
Well, Telenovela was only a couple years ago. Here,
Oh,
he's got an upcoming project. The Pioneer Woman. It's a film. He's writing it, not directing it, of course.
Okay. All right.
A city girl meets the cowboy of her dreams on a road trip from California to Chicago and adjusts to her new life on an Oklahoma ranch.
That sounds great.
This is definitely never getting made. It says here Reese Witherspoon was considered for the lead role back in 2010.
Whoops.
Fuck that guy. All right.
She's got better things to do.
Way better things. Now, Hank,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay. 1 star.
1 star. Who's your MVP?
I'm sticking with Billy Pax.
Billy Pax. Right, I'm going to go with George Newbern and Scott Wolf there. Who's your LVP?
Robert Harling.
Yeah, I guess that's the answer, right?
I think it's the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Robert Harling, sure.
I have a 3 count on the superhero count.
Oh God! All right,
Yeah, I know you ought to be me.
go ahead.
Uh, Bill Paxton was in Agents of Shield, playing a character named John Garrett.
Yeah, yeah, Shield agent, or like he was like Hydra, like masquerading as Shield. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Scott Wolf was in the 1990 live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, playing a quote thug.
Yeah, probably he was in the Foot Clan.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And George Newbern has been in a ton of DC animated movies, mainly playing Superman.
Wow, Superman. Good
Yeah,
for
got the
him.
big one. Got the big one. A couple
Yeah.
of times as Steve Trevor, but
Well,
mainly
that's Wonder Woman's guy. That's Chris
right.
Pine. He gets the big
Right.
roles. This guy.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So
All right.
not too bad. Not too bad.
All right. Listen.
Yeah.
What rankings? Terms of endearment better. Okay.
Doctor No.
Okay.
You only
Okay.
live twice. Yeah. Obviously, terms and this fucking crap with a star.
What's next up on the podcast?
Well, folks, next week we are going back to superherodom in a timely manner. We are going to be covering The Avengers and The Avengers Age of Ultron in preparation for the following week's Avengers Infinity War, of which I have already bought my ticket.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you saw it already. Jesus.
No. No, I bought my ticket. I didn't want to take any chances. So
I
bought my ticket.
haven't bought it. I'll probably just go see like Rampage and then sneak in.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
idea. That's easier where you are. That's
Yeah.
not so easy here. So I bought it. It's out of the way. I was kind of stressed about it. So now I don't have to worry about
Next week we'll be seeing a couple of Joss Whedon movies. Another talented writer
Yeah.
whose work translates better on television.